What's up? You're watching Cheap Seats. I'm Riley. That's Graydon. And today we are making our predictions for the AFC and NFC championship games.
We are down to 4 teams.
It's the final 4. And before we get too far into it, let's get the apology music. It's not an apology. I just want to say thank you, Detroit. Thank you, Dan Campbell. Thank you, Lions fans. Our grit and loyalty was not enough to carry us to the NFC Championship this year, and that Super Bowl window, it might be narrow. We might have to will our way through it because we are losing Aaron Glenn and we're losing Ben Johnson. We got some important hires to make here in Detroit, but we got a really talented squad, and hopefully everybody sticks around. Those trick plays,
I'm glad they're going to be gone.
I don't know. I mean, I liked them. They were very fun. But
Screw them.
Jameson Williams throwing that pass when the season's on the line didn't look like the best Ben Johnson idea.
His head was in Chicago.
And when he's gone to Chicago,
We hate him.
But Aaron Glenn, good luck in New Jersey.
Yeah.
All
Get us back in color,
All right, back in
man.
color.
Because to be honest,
Uh-huh.
I could give 2 craps.
I care, okay? I know that you don't because you're a Browns fan and just a Browns fan.
Dang tootin'.
But we live here. We've lived here for 8 years. I mean, I love the city, and I wanted to see the city. All the billboards have to come down. There's a lot of work for the city now.
I'm happy because if they would have won the Super Bowl, the amount of damage that would have been done. So honestly, I look at it through that lens.
The amount of damage I would have done to my liver would have been worth it, dude. I would think about how much we would drink if we won the Super Bowl.
I'm going to drink no matter who's in the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, I'm going to drink on that day, but I'm saying, like, I would have drank probably for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been just Lions parties everywhere.
That would have been cool.
G-Mac Cash could have performed downtown.
Yeah, that's true.
We could have decorated the Detroit sign on the highway.
What would we have done with that?
I don't know, painted it blue?
It is kind of blue.
No, it's not. It's
Well,
like
it is-
white and green.
You're white and green.
Okay, and that's crazy because you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm white and I'm new at this. This whole
Yeah.
football thing, I'm green.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
I think, I was sad at the time, but
Uh-huh.
thankfully we were not in town.
Right.
It would have been really
We
depressing.
were in
if-
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Surrounded by Commanders fans, where are they coming from?
There were plenty of Eagles fans too, which was weird.
Yeah.
Who were cheering because they think they just got the easier matchup. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to our
Commanders are
predictions,
dang
but
good.
Yeah.
They are dang good.
The offseason has started for most teams, and so I went through and I just wrote down some things I want to run by you.
Okay,
really,
let's
really
hear it.
quick. All right. These are trade pieces and free agents
All
going
right.
into the offseason. What do you think's going to happen? What is the destination for these players?
I don't know.
Number 1, Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
I'm hearing the Giants rumors. Doesn't that feel like a Giants quarterback?
That does make a lot of sense. And I mean, Brian's on his last leg.
Mhm.
Everybody's, as our good friend Bengals said when he was here, you can't even judge him because he hasn't had the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like a funny Giants excuse. It's like, well, you wanted a quarterback. Here's half of one.
Yeah, here's an old one.
Here's the arms of one.
Yeah.
Legs don't work like they used to, but
Right. When
Remember-
your legs don't work like they used to now. What's that, Ed Sheeran?
yeah.
I think something like
But
that.
that would also mean that the Falcons have to take on a huge part of that contract
The
and then
dead cap.
trade him.
Yeah, but they're going to do that.
Yeah.
They're going with Penix. They are not. They benched
right. But if
Kirk
you're going to
Cousins.
pay that dead cap, what's the advantage
Of getting rid of him?
Yeah,
Oh, you get something in return.
yeah. But if you keep him, you have a good backup, and you're going to pay that money anyway.
Right, but I think Kirk's going to get out of there. That's just how he is.
Well, he wants to play for sure.
Yeah, and I think he will play somewhere next year. But next, Tyreek Hill. That's kind of the big one. Where's he going to go?
Yeah. I mean, does he go home?
Where's home?
Kansas City.
I don't think they want that. I don't.
I don't know.
I don't.
think they would be.
They like a return. I know that
do.
they always bring people back.
because if
but
you know the system, they just fit right in.
yeah, I just feel like it's like, to me, I'm like, it could be. It's got to be somebody who can pay him enough. That's the other thing. Is like,
Vegas.
to me, I'm like Cowboys,
Oh.
like CD
God.
Lamb and Tyreek Hill. Like,
Yeah, but him in Dallas just feels like it would turn his toxic up like 10,000.
oh, totally.
It would be bad.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That one makes sense. Do they have the money with CD, Micah, and Dak's contract that they just got?
I
Signed
don't.
him to last year?
They didn't sign Micah yet. I don't think.
Yeah, I feel like they
I
don't
know.
have
Maybe
the
they
money.
did. But yeah, money's the thing there. I think the most fun one's the Patriots. Just let Drake May toss the ball to him, you know?
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. I mean, he definitely looks like he lost a step.
He lost a step, but I don't think he wanted to be there. I think that's a huge part of it.
That's a huge part of it, but
I think
also,
if the Kirk contract wasn't in Atlanta, I could see him being fantastic in Atlanta. Him and Drake London.
With Penix, yeah.
Yeah, with Penix, and he's already used to catching from a lefty, you know?
That's true.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he ends up on a really shitty team that overpays him.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's like what my gut tells me is that next year he's like a Raider with like Shador or something.
Yeah, I could see that. And it does feel like Shador is kind of slipping, so the Raiders could actually get him, you know?
That's kind of I'd say he goes to a shitty team that overpays him.
All right, Sam Darnold.
Sammy D.
Because up until the Vikings lost that game, it looked like, oh, maybe they'll move JJ McCarthy, and get a little money from him, and then just keep Sam. And Sam only lost to 2 teams the entire year.
Yeah,
and it was the Lions and the Rams twice each. And I still think he's got some gas in the tank.
Absolutely.
Somebody's going to want him, but I don't know where he goes.
Yeah, and I blame a lot of those. I don't blame him for either of those losses, frankly.
I do blame him for the last 2.
I don't think so. I think
he held the ball too long.
Yeah, but the tape just got out. I think they ran a wrong scheme, and Aaron Glenn came out and blitzed him a ton, and that worked, and then they didn't adjust for that, and the same thing happened the next week against the Rams. And I think in a year's time, we'll look at that Rams defensive line as arguably the best in football.
Right.
And I think what the Lions did schematically is like just expose a huge hole that was there. And they had a banged up Aaron Jones who makes blitzing easier because they were never ahead of the chains. Their defense got exposed as well. So they were like forcing him to be in a shootout off rip. So I think their whole plan got kind of thrown to the wayside. I think when they were on scheme or on whatever you call it, he was on schedule.
Yeah.
He was a great quarterback all season.
I agree.
A huge arm.
I agree.
And so I think the most interesting place where I'd want him, talk about a welcome back story, put him back in San Francisco. Don't pay Brock.
I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're looking to the future. I think they're going to pay Brock. I do think that. And I don't know if that's a good idea, but I don't think they go to Sam.
I would rather have Sam than Brock. I would say that.
I think that's fair. That's definitely fair. I see it more as like, I think the Saints are going to move Derek Carr, and I could see him being a Saint.
Yeah.
I could see him being a Brown.
I hope so. I mean, that would be great.
I think that'd be great. But I don't know where else, I could really see. I mean, Giants, they need a quarterback. I don't think they're going to get one in the draft.
No, I don't see him in New York either.
Yeah. But, okay, how about T. Higgins?
He stays in Cincy. They're gonna do the whole.
I don't think so.
They're gonna do the whole overpay 3 guys and just have like the worst defense of all time.
I don't think they're gonna. I think they have to. I think Zach Taylor needs his job.
That's true, but I feel like if he doesn't, I feel like there's so much pressure from generational players or franchise players like Jamar and Joe. They don't want T to go, and I think if they let T go, and they don't start the season right, that locker room's going to be screwed, and then he gets fired. But if they sign him and they're like just as competitive as they were this year, like around a 500 team, and they had a lot of things not go their way this year. Their defense was terrible, but they caught some bad breaks in a couple games. I think they just leverage everything on those 3 players. I've thought that from pretty much like week 8 of this year. I was like, I
don't know. I think they move him because they can't pay, and they get a little bit of draft capital, and they draft a defensive player in the first round for sure. They need like an edge or something like that. Yep. Another edge, obviously, but and then I think that they end up getting like a wide receiver in the 2nd round, or they get they bring like DK Metcalf there and can pay him less.
Can you pay him less?
I think you can pay DK less than T. Higgins right now.
Yeah, T. Higgins is probably what, 26, 27?
T. Higgins?
Yeah.
25 maybe?
Yeah.
26,
DK is probably 30.
Yeah, I think he's 30, 31, something like that.
30 is that magical marker for wide receivers for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Remember the Amari Cooper trade?
Yeah.
Non-factor. Not even a part of the offense.
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it had like 2 or 3 weeks where it was like, okay.
Yeah, but like playoff time last year, he looked great.
Yeah, totally.
And then same with Tyreek. You hit 31 and you can't be a wide receiver anymore.
Yeah. Cooper Kupp. I've heard some rumors about him getting moved.
Oh, he's not. Yeah, he is not staying.
Yeah.
And also, Stafford looks kind of questionable.
Well, yeah, he's getting old.
Well, right. But I mean, they had a great year. Like,
totally.
What an amazing
fantastic year. But I think McVay obviously has a special relationship. When you win a Super Bowl
Yeah.
together, you kind of got to stick it out a little bit.
That's like touching tips in a threesome.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then I think, so I think that they'll probably stick together for one more year. But I think it depends on his contract. I don't know shit about business, but like
Madness.
they'll move him eventually.
He said he wants clarity sooner than later today
Yeah.
on it. So I don't know. And you can't rush Matt. He's got to go back to Georgia and
Yeah.
shovel his driveway right now.
Right. I know it's snowing down there.
Shout out everyone in the South.
Shout out.
Enjoy that stuff.
I've heard the Cooper Cup to the Commanders rumor.
That would be cool.
I could see that.
I think, yeah.
You get Terry Cooper, Luke McCaffrey.
Miami,
Yep.
Zach Ertz. Yeah, I think having a really smart veteran like Cooper Kupp could do a lot for Jaden Daniels, who obviously seems well adept at the playbook and NFL defenses. But like we saw with CJ last year, I know it wasn't on the same scale of success, but like regular season numbers, it just looked like on paper, like, oh, this guy gets it.
Yeah.
But once tape gets out on you, defenses are going to be coming at him so different next year. And I think having a guy like Cooper who can sit down in little zones and like explain defenses a little clearer to him would be super valuable. And they have a ton of cash.
Oh, yeah.
They have a ton of money.
They're a very young team.
But that's a really old guy too. Cooper's 33, I think, next year.
Something like that. I mean, yeah, and you already have Zach Ertz, who is like old as fuck. But
Yeah, but at tight end, you kind of get that leeway because as long as you can like throw a chip block and like be a big ass target. Like the
yeah,
touchdown
and if
he
you
caught.
can get up to like 13 miles an hour when you're running, I
Yeah.
mean, you can really score a lot of touchdowns.
I mean, look
as a
at
tight
Travis
end.
Kelce.
Yeah.
He almost ran 10.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
He
was
almost hit
wild.
double digits.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
The ref going backwards had to stop and wait in a back pedal for him to catch up to see the play.
Yeah.
I didn't have him as an anytime touchdown either. It's okay.
Okay. I wrote down Deebo Samuel.
Debo, not going to be in San Francisco. Feels like that relationship is spoiled.
Yep. As is like every single person catching the ball that isn't George Kittle. It feels like nobody's good there.
Yeah, I mean, Ayuk had that bizarre start to the season. I mean, we did videos before the season started where we were like, where's Ayuk going to be? It looked like a foregone conclusion that he was gone. And then San Francisco has like a very New England way of handling things. And they kind of just like, they like linger until he's like, and then they're like, you're staying.
Yeah, Dallas does the same thing.
Yeah, Dallas does a very similar thing. A little more toxic with Jerry. But yeah, not going to stay there. I could see him. He's not going to go to a divisional opponent. San Francisco like will not allow that because I was like a good fit would be Seattle.
Right. I
Like,
can see that.
With Jackson Smith, him, Kenneth Walker, that would be like a fun
See,
little
I
scheme.
think, and the other one that I think of is Arizona, and they won't do that.
Yeah, no, they won't.
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe they will. They're like buddies now because they looked out after him
Yeah,
after the fire.
because of the fires.
So maybe they're like a little farm system for him. But I think Arizona blows it up next year anyway. I feel like he goes AFC. Maybe he goes to like, because honestly, a great scheme for him to fit in would be Mike McDaniel as a guy who runs all these trick motions and running plays. Like if you could fit Debo in as a third running back with Achane,
Right.
that would be kind of cool.
Yeah. It depends who else they get because they're only going to have Waddle doing like.
And Jonnu, I mean, as a tight end.
Right,
but
as
he
a
was
tight
like
end,
their
yeah.
main target this
Yeah.
year.
Well, we'll see. I also wrote down DK Metcalf. A lot of people think he's leaving.
Is his contract up?
I don't know anything
Yeah.
about business.
Business,
so,
yeah, sorry,
business
my
isn't my
bad.
thing. I'm
It's,
just like trying to
we're
have
going
fun.
off vibes here.
Yeah.
I think DK just feels like a lifelonger Seattle guy to me.
Nope.
No?
Cleveland Browns.
Oh,
Jerry Jeudy and DK Metcalf. That I'm like,
That'd be
it
nice.
makes a lot of sense to me.
yeah, if we got a quarterback. He's not, yeah. I mean, we're not going to.
We have one.
Who?
We have the perfect quarterback.
Who?
He's not going to play for most of the season, but we have the perfect quarterback.
Zappy?
I'm talking about Watson.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're actually going to get out of all that money, and we can touch on that real quick if you want.
I mean, we are going to get out of all of it, yeah, because
It certainly seems like it.
yeah,
Because he posted so many TikToks of him dancing in Miami without a boot on, and it was in his rehab contract that he had to wear the protective boot.
Yep.
Because you know what's bad for an Achilles injury after you tear it?
dancing.
Is like rolling an ankle or something.
Oh,
And yeah, you can do that dancing.
dancing, yeah.
And you know when it's really hard to roll an ankle is when you're in a boot. If you've ever worn a walking boot, try
But
and roll an
it
ankle.
is really, really hard to do the salsa in a boot.
That's a great point too,
Yeah.
and I hear you.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend, whatever. You know,
Whatever. Well, I don't know. What do you mean, whatever?
I mean, whatever. Like obviously,
You're supposed to like fill my head with like an idea, and you didn't. You said whatever, and I don't know what you mean. What's
Okay.
your opinion?
well, my opinion is maybe she was an operator for the Cleveland Browns.
That would be so sick.
Yeah, maybe Andrew Berry. Andrew
we
Berry.
hired some hottie to kind of like brainwash him into dancing without the boot on.
Yeah, take the boot off, babe. This is gonna make a fire TikTok. Ripped it again.
Oh, yeah.
If we get out of $92 million, we are back, baby.
Totally. They could pay us to hang out.
Fuck it.
Yeah, we'll be really, really good. Especially if we draft Abdul Carter and we have Abdul Carter and Miles Garrett. Our defense is going to be so good, people are going to score 0 points every single game.
Imagine playing chicken in a pool with those guys, you and me. We're up top, and they're carrying us around.
Sick.
Dude.
Yeah, I call Miles.
No!
Hey, come on.
Sorry.
Yeah, you shouldn't yell like that.
Sorry.
Yeah. I only have a few more. We'll just rush through them. Martin Emerson Jr. He's on the trade block, a lot of people say. Yeah.
I
don't care if we. I mean, I like him.
Yeah, I like
he's
Martin.
He's a Browns player. I like him, but I'm saying like I don't mind moving him.
Yeah. I think if we move him, it's for more draft capital.
Yeah.
I think the way to like garner excitement going into this year is somehow get out of this Deshaun money. That's a miracle sent down from God. Acquire. Like for Martin Emerson Jr., you can maybe get a 6th-round pick.
Yeah, 5th, 6th round.
Yeah,
maybe.
5th, 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you package that with something else, maybe from the 2nd round, and you can get like 4 5th rounds or something. We've done that in the past. I think we'll do the old kind of Robert Kraft scenario where it's like, I still won't be surprised if we trade out of 2 and just get
I can see that.
Bundle shit up. Like if someone really wants to pull a quarterback.
Or they really want Travis Hunter.
Yeah, or they really want Travis Hunter. But the rumors for that right now is that we want Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Coming out of
I want Abdul Carter. I think that is like
I think that'd be great.
So good.
I think Travis would be great too. I do think he's the best player in the draft. And I saw something this week that said they think he could have a Jim Brown like impact on the franchise.
I like that.
Which is pretty crazy.
I like that.
Yeah.
George Pickens.
George Pick. He's up?
Yeah. I don't know, but people are saying that there's a rumor that he's going to be out. I think they're kind of sick of his shit, especially because he dropped so many balls in that Ravens game.
Yeah. He feels like such a Mike Tomlin guy, though.
I know.
Mike Tomlin's not sick of his shit. He's good. He's
but Mike Tomlin's going to get traded, too.
Yeah, to us.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
No, it would be weird.
I would love
it, but it'd be weird. I mean, I want...
they just do a duo.
Oh, yeah. Kevin
Good cop,
and Mike.
bad cop.
Yeah, kind of a run the jewels situation.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Listen up, Andrew. I got an idea. Pickens, where the hell? That feels like a Dallas guy.
Oh, yeah.
Send him to Dallas and let him
and
fucking...
CD?
Oh, Jesus.
They'll fucking fist fight each other.
Jerry Jones will say something racist.
Yeah.
Okay, it would be...
Again?
Well, no.
I couldn't believe it. All right, last one, Sam Hubbard.
Sorry, Jerry Jones calls the cops on him. George Pickens' first day at work. He's
like,
I don't know who this guy is. Get him out of here. He's hiding in his office. He's taking stuff.
Sam Hubbard. Bengals.
They won't be able to keep him based on my own philosophy.
Yeah.
That feels like a guy that goes to like LA.
Okay. Which one?
Either.
Oh, okay. Chargers or Rams.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Both of those make sense.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then I just quickly want to run through the coaching hires, and then we'll get into the actual games. We'll talk about the games that happened and the games that are coming up.
Yes, sir.
Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. Everybody knew that was going to happen.
Woo, bye. Hope you enjoyed your time in Cleveland, Mike. What'd you help with?
Yeah, I still think he's going to be fantastic there. I just think it makes so much sense. He's been there like 50 times. But
yeah,
still.
it just looks like this looks like a weakness in the organization. Like, why didn't they do that last year? Like, why bring in Gerard Mayo, parade him around as Gerard Mayo was just Black Mike Vrabel. They were like, he played here and we love him and he's great and he's going to establish everything.
Yeah. I mean, they said they planned it 5 years ago that he was going to be the predecessor.
Right. And then
the successor.
And then they did a tank year where everyone knew they wanted to lose. The best case scenario is that they established their new franchise quarterback, which they did in Joe Milton. And then, and then you just fire Gerard. It feels.
No, I agree with all of that. But if you're going to do it, that's the coach to do it for, in my opinion.
Right. No, and I agree. This is
unless you get Bill back, which would be weird. But
Bill's back.
That would be hilarious if they did that. If they had Gerard Mayo for a year and they're like, Bill, just come on back.
Now they have Mike Vrabel for a year and then they bring Bill back. It was all just stepping stones to lure him back because Bill's jealous of his former players.
And then Mike Vrabel becomes the head coach at UNC.
Whoa! They brought McDaniels back too for the third time, and I can't think of another guy that's done that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Repeated, like Gruden.
Probably a Chiefs guy.
Gruden went back to Oakland or Vegas. Vegas the second time. That was weird, but they loved him there. And now McDaniels is back for his third time as OC in New England, which is crazy. How many jobs is this guy going to get there? He wasn't good anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good, but it's weird.
Yeah. Ben Johnson to the Bears. This is the one that is very controversial, especially in the
Stings.
city. Everybody's mad about it. Is he from there?
I don't know.
Because I saw Cole Bennett tweet, and this is not good. This isn't good, like, news.
Here's
or whatever.
football
But
news.
I didn't look it up, but Cole Bennett tweeted, "Welcome home, Ben."
Yeah.
And I thought maybe, like, oh, maybe he's a Chicago guy, but he said he wanted to stay in the division. That was something that he said.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, it is super weird, but, like,
I think it's just because he knows the opponents.
and they were 6-0 against the division this year.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I think he was gonna get a head coaching job regardless. and I
Wherever he
think-
wanted.
Yeah, and I think if they won the Super Bowl this year, that's a good reason to leave. And because they underperformed, like, I honestly think there's a chance if they won the NFC Championship and lost in the Super Bowl, he would stay one more year to try to finish the job. That it just didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't get there, and so now he's out. And
I think he takes it no matter what because he sees it as a generational quarterback in a place. And if they give that job to someone else and the Bears have a good season, now he's looking at Jacksonville next year or something. I think like and also some questionable play calls. Let's say they somehow win that Commanders game, even with those plays he called. If he goes to the Super Bowl and more of that bullshit happens, maybe the offer's not as high. Maybe the job isn't as ideal. Maybe he doesn't have control over the GM, which I know he doesn't in Chicago, which I thought was weird. I was like, maybe he'll take the Raiders gig because it's just a full rebuild, but they'll give him.
They really wanted him to.
Then they'll give him control of everything.
Yeah.
And I know he has to like stick it out with the GM in Chicago now. That depends on if they have a bunch of success. Next year he could get
or
rid
if he
of
has a
him.
good relationship with that GM. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
never
just
know.
all I've heard is that he wanted to bring in his own guy, which is strange, but staying in the division makes sense. He's dominated it.
Yeah.
Super smart guy. I think if they can get that team a run game, that could be the juiciest rivalry in the
I think
division.
Genty's gonna go there. I think they're gonna pick Genty.
That would be huge.
Yeah, I think they'll be like unstoppable if they have him.
Yeah,
but,
they need to juice up the line for sure. I'd say
Yeah.
your first pick should be left side, but
but yeah, they'll get one of the guys from Michigan or whatever. But
Donovan Edwards later.
Then Aaron Glenn with the Jets now.
Is that confirmed?
It's
today?
like I don't know if it's confirmed, but it's like all but confirmed.
That's what I've heard.
And so I will say allegedly.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn to the Jets. He was a first round draft pick there. For the Jets.
Yeah.
He knows it. And he also worked there for a long time. He was like a consultant there.
Continues a long lineage of defensive-minded coaches in Jersey, too. And I think that team still has a great defense. Obviously, underperformed this year. They
also have weapons. Yeah, they're like that.
there.
They are a few pieces away, and one of the main pieces is getting rid of Aaron Rodgers because you
Obviously,
just gotta like, and I have said I want him to go to Cleveland. I just,
for fun.
It really
funsies. That's
it
literally
is
all
just
I
like it's gonna be. Will be talked about.
Imagine tagging that name on that long Browns jersey with all the quarterback names.
Yeah,
Rodgers. Oh, really?
yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
And in 10 years,
Cleveland.
10 years, people will be like, he did play that year. They did win the Super Bowl that year. Let's forget about that.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl. But
yeah, I like Aaron Glenn there.
I think that's a great hire.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to do fantastic there. And I think that team, I'm not going to do the hype train that I did before this year. I said the Jets were going to win that division.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be all right. I think they're going to be pretty good. We'll see what the rest of the offseason shapes up, like who's going to be their quarterback, who they pick in the draft, whether they, people are talking about, what's his face?
Yeah.
The wide receiver.
Yeah.
Wide receiver number one.
Devontae Adams.
The other one.
Garrett Wilson.
People are saying he might not be there.
Oh, he wants out. He hates that organization.
Yeah, totally.
They did him like dirt. He became their number one wide receiver. He wins rookie offensive player of the year or was second in it to CJ Stroud. And then, they bring
Was he a
in-
rookie last year?
Maybe 2 years ago. Because I
was
think
going
he
to say
did win it.
because second place was Puka last year.
Poopy?
Puka Nakua, who is fantastic.
I think Garrett did. And then they bring in, a fucking shaman and his old buddy. And then you kind of just get overshadowed. I'd kind of want out too. And I think in a weird turn of events, I think Robert Saleh becomes the defensive coordinator in Detroit.
Oh, I can see that.
Because he's a Detroit guy. He's like actually from here.
Yeah.
And then he was in the division this year.
He was at
picked
Packers,
up work with Green Bay. I think he gets that job easy. And I think he's a great defensive
Oh, yeah, he's
player.
fantastic.
I think that's an easy switch swap. Guys, green, blue, they could share clothes, whatever, swap them back and forth. And boom. Saleh buys Glenn's house. Easy.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson for George Pickens straight up, by the way. I think that trade could happen.
Okay.
I think that's hilarious. Like,
Who gets better there?
both of them. All right. The one last hire that I have to mention is just because it's funny. The GM for the Raiders is going to be John Spytek. Tom Brady hired him, and they're old buddies. He was working for the Bucks for like 20 years, and his name is Spytek, which is short for spy technology.
Yeah, is it anything to do with Spygate?
Yes, that's what they used. He's the technology that they used.
All right,
and so
thank you for the job, Tom.
John Spy Technology.
Yeah.
So they're gonna spy on the Chiefs, and they're gonna win the division next year.
Someone should spy on Al Davis because he's up to something creepy.
Okay,
I know he is.
I'm gonna list off all of the open guys really, really quick, and just let me know if you think any hot takes about where any of these guys are gonna land.
All right, I'll just say Browns, the ones I want.
Okay,
right.
Mike McCarthy.
No.
Joe Brady.
Actually, no. I think McCarthy takes the Jacksonville job.
That's fair.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. Joe Brady.
Don't want him.
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, bring him to the Browns,
Please. Yeah.
There is someone that was like crazy. Chicago was talking about Pete Carroll, which was kind of funny.
I thought that he was maybe going to go there. I've now heard the Raiders thing. Tom Brady likes him.
The Raiders are just going to be in every conversation, but like, what do you get out of an organization that's in a complete rebuild, as Vegas is, and hiring a 94-year-old coach?
He's not 94.
He's like 79.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So what? You have him for 2 years? I know he's spunky.
Yeah, we thought that about Trump, and then look at him now. He's back.
Yeah, but America's so much easier to work with than a football team. We're talking about leading men here to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, upping the economy, cakewalk.
Yeah.
Designing a zone scheme run game.
Telling ICE they can go to schools and just take people over the border.
That's easy.
Yeah, just fully deporting people.
Yeah.
Executive orders like saying there's two genders and accidentally making it so that everybody's technically a girl because they wrote it wrong.
That's so much easier to do than designing like a blitz-heavy defense that disguises the blitz as zone coverage.
Yeah. Especially, so many defensive pieces to work with on that. I mean, Max Crosby, Spillane, that's a great team.
They should bring back Janikowski.
Totally.
Seabass.
Yeah, I like that. All right, Todd Monken. People are saying he's going somewhere.
Yeah, Todd Monken, great year. Number one offense for the majority of the whole year. Mm-hmm. I feel like he sticks it out another year.
I think so too. That's kind of
he has a Ben Johnson of last year feel,
Mm.
and I know Derek and Lamar obviously hungry, and they like want to run that back. I think they have to go get like a Garrett Wilson.
My hot take about Todd Monken is I think he sticks it out one more year, and then I think he takes the Bengals job.
Oh, just interdivisional screwing each other in the mouth.
But think about that. Todd Monken running the ship in Cincinnati.
I mean, the offense can't run any better. It's not like
that's true. They do need a defensive-minded coach.
Yeah, that's like as long as you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, my son could write plays for them.
Yeah,
he hasn't been born yet.
Right.
He's in my balls currently.
Yeah, that's.
I could put a headset on my cock, and he'd call plays.
I did write down Robert Saleh, but I think that you made a good point about DC for the Lions. Liam Cohen, young guy.
Yeah.
People like him.
You think he gets a head coaching job? If he does, it'd be like New Orleans.
Yeah,
that feels good.
You know what Alvin Kamara said?
What'd he say?
He said, "The head coach that I want, I'll tell you what, it rhymes with Dizzy."
He wants Dizzy Gillespie to be the coach?
No, he wants Darren Rizzi. He wants the guy who the interim.
Yeah, well, that's
never a good idea.
It's a terrible mistake. Max Crosby said he loved Antonio Pierce last year.
Everybody did. And for the Raiders.
Everybody loves their interim coach.
Yeah.
If you can come in, save the day from the old shit storm, win a couple games, make them competitive again, everybody like bonds to that guy really well. That's in that locker room. The problem is next year after a full offseason of bringing new people in and then tasking them with designing like a whole team of scheme, they always fall short because you're just not built for that. They're like a coordinator that's been elevated.
Yeah, I think Sabrina Carpenter takes the Saints job.
Oh, have you ever tried this one? No,
I haven't.
Okay.
I'm waiting on that one. But last three, Brian Flores, I think he sticks it out.
Lost a lot of steam at the end of the year.
Totally.
That definitely hurts. I mean, looked great, but he's suing the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get a head coaching job. No organization wants to bring in a guy that's actively suing the NFL and is like just like whatever you want to think about the lawsuit. I hope he wins too. The NFL's fucking rampant with racism and always has been, but just the way he orchestrated that defense this year is chaotic, and he's been known as like a totally insane person in general.
Yeah, head coach, I think he's a much better DC than he is head
And I think
coach,
Minnesota is a great place for him because Kevin O'Connell is so sturdy,
Yep.
calm, like kind of steer the ship, not risky. And then you have Flores on the defense who's like, "Ah!" like, fuck you, Goodell. I'm sending blitzes all game. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's a good fit. I don't think he goes anywhere. And I don't think he really can either.
Yeah, Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore's a hot one. That one makes a lot of sense in the Raiders for me.
Yeah, oh, okay.
It feels maybe a little early, but for some reason I see that he's a quarterback, an ex-quarterback. He could have that weird relationship with Brady. I feel like he could funnel in info from him well. It's a complete rebuild, low pressure, good defense. I don't know. That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Last one, Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith, Artie.
Yeah, I still think there's a little bit of a hangover from watching him do all that in Atlanta that I don't think he gets the job.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think he gets a job anywhere.
and I mean,
He obviously gets a job as a coordinator.
I think so, maybe, but it's not like the numbers in Pittsburgh weren't great. He came into awful and made them all right.
Well, that's what they do in Pittsburgh. I don't think that's like,
Yeah.
He did a good job. They overperformed this year.
I think you're right, though. There's a little hangover where people, I think if you threw him into a locker room with a bunch of people that remembered that Super Bowl, they'd be like, this guy.
All right. So now let's talk about the games that did happen. Obviously, we talked about the disappointment with the Lions, the excitement around the Commanders. The only stat that I was like super interested in was that all of the losers of these 4 games outgained in yards the winners, and the winners had 0 turnovers altogether, or 0 interceptions at least. But that really goes to show that like protecting the ball, especially with all the weather, this week was so important.
I also think there's something to be said there with like just how you play in the playoffs. Like all the losers, you have the Texans, you have the Rams, you have the Ravens, and you have the Lions. The Lions were the only ones really in a position from any part of that game to be like up significantly. I'm losing my voice.
Okay.
And I think it just like, I don't know, the Rams had to like air it out. I could see the losers like, and Philly sucks the clock and like runs the ball slow. The Bills have done a good job of that. The Commanders and Lions was like an absolute shootout for that first half. It was like anybody could have gotten 400
the highest scoring postseason quarter of all time was the second quarter of that game, which, by the way, you should look. That's a really interesting stat. Look at the Lions scoring in the second quarter this year. It is unbelievable. It is like, I'm pretty sure their point differential in the second quarter at the end of the season was like 180, like plus 180. It was
Crazy.
like wild.
But yeah, I don't know. That is interesting, but I think what you boiled it down to is what makes the most sense. You just can't give, especially as the underdog, if you give the other team an extra possession. I know the Ravens were technically the favorite in that. I thought that was a stupid line anyway.
I see. I think it's just basically that the Ravens smacked the Bills earlier in the season, like really destroyed.
It was snowing. It's in Buffalo, home field. Because the Ravens were favored by 1 point, they were technically a 4-point favorite because you get 3 for being at home. They
say 2.5 now. But,
it's always the half now. But that just felt weird. And then, it gave them extra possessions. Lamar makes a terrible interception, has a bad fumble.
Yeah.
And
I think that line should have changed when they found out that the Ravens were practicing indoors for that because it was too icy. Like their field was too icy. So they practiced indoors, turned off all the heat, and we're practicing like in the cold indoors, but still indoors. And I think like when people said that, I was like, fuck, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Like I picked them to win, but I was like, I don't know. Maybe they are going to lose.
Yeah.
And they were obviously close. And I know that like people have talked about this. It's, Mark Andrews had that bad drop at the end of the game. They would have had the 2-point conversion easily if he just catches that ball. He just falls back into the end zone and then it's a tie game. But there's a minute and a half left.
Yeah, that's what
the Bills can go down and kick a field goal pretty easily. And
that would have been over. I thought like when Lamar threw that touchdown, I was like, fuck, great pass, but it was way too early.
But I think if there were 8 minutes, if they played 8 more minutes, of overtime, I think the Ravens were playing better football at that point in the game and could win.
It's just a coin toss.
It is the coin toss thing, but I do think that the Ravens win if they go to overtime. I just don't think they would have gone to overtime. I think Josh Allen can do enough with a minute and a half and 2 timeouts get down to the 30-yard line. And, Bass did miss his other field goal, so maybe he misses. But if that happens, then it's still just going to overtime. It's not like the Ravens win.
Yeah, and the Ravens only win in overtime, I agree with you, if they get the ball, which is just a 50-50.
Yeah, I could see the Bills coming down and kicking a field goal and then the Ravens going and scoring a touchdown.
Oh, I don't know. At home, Josh Allen was going down and scoring a touchdown. He would have done some freaky white cartwheel shit.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that. I'm just like, I don't know. But either way, I thought the Ravens were closer. I think Lamar played better than we'd seen him play in the playoffs. This playoffs, like, he did improve because he's been so bad.
It looked like same old, same old.
No, it didn't.
Fumble and a pick.
Second half, he was so good.
Yeah, second half, he looked great, but he gave him 2 extra possessions.
No, totally. I'm saying, like, those are mistakes for sure. He definitely tried to be superhero when he didn't have to, especially with the fumble. Like, he was down. He wasn't down technically. I'm not saying it was a bad call. I'm saying, like, they just had him wrapped up. Just go down. Don't try to throw the ball away. Like, it was a dumb thing. But, and then obviously people talking about the Chiefs and the Texans with the officiating. There were some really bad calls.
Yeah, and just the attempted flop by Patrick is like, the guy's the James Harden of the NFL. He's like playing in a way we've never seen a quarterback do, but it's like a necessary evil. It sucks to watch, like, as a fan.
Totally.
But you need a guy to do shit like that, to like exploit the rules and then make a change.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Manu Ginobili growing up. And he was the biggest flopper in the NBA. LeBron does insane flops.
Well, and now you can get suspended and you get a technical for flopping.
Yeah.
There's like certain calls you can go back and review. And I think, a couple more years of this bullshit, or if Pat does a crazy one in this upcoming game or the Super Bowl, you'll see that of like, if a guy steps out of bound and exaggerates contact that is proven to not be there with like no extension of an arm or something, you could move the offense back 15 yards.
Yeah.
By like trying to, frame another player. I could totally see that becoming a rule. So as annoying as it is, I think it is kind of necessary and he's just being a gamer. Like he's just trying to get more yards, like whatever. You can't really blame him. And if it's the NFL rules, you need people to try and exploit them. So they change.
And there were bad calls all around, not just in that game. There was a pass interference call that was total bullshit. Like there's a lot of shit. I mean, the Texans, the one where Patrick slid late and was like at the right hash. It wasn't even like close to out of bounds and slid late. And then the 2 Texans players hit each other and then they called that. Yeah. And then they review it and still call it. I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like that is a really, really bad call, and it unfortunately fits a narrative that is just about the Chiefs now, and that people want, the refs are on their side or whatever.
Shout out the Texans, though.
Yeah.
What a way to like end the season.
They put up a fight. They go into next season with a lot of momentum that I don't think they had at the end of the regular season.
No, draft some offensive line. They have new rejuvenated faith in that defense. I think Joe Mixon is like a great culture fit there.
Yeah.
You're going to have the momentum of hopefully getting Tank back midway next year or something like that.
And Joe is trying to recruit T. Higgins to come to Houston as well.
Add another wide receiver in there. They're great. Like I think CJ Stroud showed the ability to like be a leader and overcome adversity and like kind of get over his sophomore slump at the end of his sophomore season, which is nice.
Yeah, they got to draft O-line big time.
Yeah. That defense is wonderful though.
Yeah, the defense is fantastic.
Will Anderson
one of the best.
is sick.
Other than that, I mean,
Philly Rams, I mean,
that was whatever.
You see the Rams again, like I said, have an amazing defensive line and Stafford still being good enough to win you big games and like push a team to the Super Bowl. They looked like such an LA team in a cold game.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams fumbled. They had terrible special teams. Like it just looked like they were cold.
Yeah, and it also looked very much like the end of that game was getting that script of a Matt Stafford coming down and winning that game. I really thought that was going to happen, and there was a chance for it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was impressed by the Rams that there was a chance for it when Saquon was running like that.
Right.
And obviously, Jalen Hurts, he goes down. He's hurt again.
Yeah.
We don't know what. I mean, I guess he's going to play probably in this game, but it's like he has been so unreliable and so just a non-factor quarterback.
15 for 20, 128. If they go to the Super Bowl and he throws for under 130 yards, I think he could be the first guy in like 30 years, maybe. It's like 28 or 30 years to have his 3 playoff games going to the Super Bowl not total 300 yards.
Oh, yeah.
Which is just nuts.
Yeah.
It's insane. It makes me like, you want to believe it's like, oh, well, that's X factor. You got to have a quarterback who can do that. But with how good their defense is and just how over the top good Saquon's been, it's like, well, why would we put it in his hands?
Yeah, but that's why, and we'll get into predictions, but that's why I kind of like the Commanders in this game, because I think they're just going to stack the box and make Jalen do that. And I think Jalen is more banged up than he's given off.
Yeah, and his X factor is being able to run. Like, he had that huge rushing touchdown in that game, and you're like, sweet, that's what he can do.
Yeah.
If his knees are fucked and he's running off cortisol or whatever, like, he's not going to be able to do those explosive plays.
I think it's his knees, his shoulder, and he's in concussion protocol.
And as great as those wide receivers are on paper, A.J. Brown had another big drop. Devontae Smith hasn't been like much of an X factor.
Right.
It's A.J. Brown's had a drop in each of these games too. So that's not great. It's going to be warmer in Philly. It's not going to be such a cold game, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah. Well, let's get into we only got 2 games to predict.
Yep, let's do it.
So
first one up.
First one.
NFC Championship.
As we were just talking about, okay, the Commanders are going into the Philadelphia Eagles place and trying to steal a trip to the Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, it's happened, but man, it's never happened like this.
No.
He's unbelievable. He is so efficient in that last game. No turnovers. He's like, on the other side, you have the 2 quarterbacks that have like not taken sacks and been able to get rid of the ball like at an alarming rate. And that's shown to be like kind of an amazing X factor in the second half of their seasons. Pat's getting the ball out in like under 2.5 seconds. Josh Allen got it out in like 2.2 or something in that last game. And that's just like, it's just backbreaking to a defense when you dial up all these things and like, stunts, and you're trying to get all these creative pressures. And like, by the time he says hike, the ball's already out and they have 7, 8 yards, 10 yards, and then you can bust a big one. That also helps run game a lot. And the Eagles have a great run game. Commanders have bad defense, but Jaden is getting it out so fast that Brian Robinson looked great last game.
Yeah. Jaden is outplaying every quarterback that's left by a mile.
Yeah.
Like 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in that game. He is playing like, and he's so poised. He's joking around. He's like, it does not feel, even CJ Stroud, and we said he was cool as a cucumber last year. He was not. This is a different level.
CJ's like dialed cool though. Like we always talk about CJ being like the total nerd, and I'm sure Jaden is to an extent, but I feel like, it's the lack of experience being there.
I don't think it's that though. Who's a DC for Philly? Whatever. There was one of the coordinators for Philly was talking about, he was like, Jaden Daniels is technically a rookie, but he's not a rookie.
5 years in college.
He's like, he doesn't play like a rookie. Yeah. There's nothing about him that is like preparing for a rookie quarterback. That's not how we're looking at this at all.
Yep.
Like, that dude is calm and collected and makes good choices and is such a triple threat. Like, he can really make anything happen that he wants to.
Yeah. Didn't get sacked last game. I think the only way he really gets under serious pressure against the Eagles is if they get coverage sacks. Like, that secondary just has to be as good as they are, which they are great.
And Quinyon Mitchell is going to play in this game. He didn't play. He left that game last week or something. Maybe he didn't play at all.
I think he left in the first quarter.
Okay, I was going to say he's got something with his shoulder or something, but he's going to be back, and he's a huge X factor for them.
But like, the idea of a coverage sack on a guy that elusive is like, if that's a game plan, that's like just tough. Like, I don't know.
That's a coin flip, because then, he evades that and he's got open space.
Yeah. And it's hard to have a coverage sack when he's fast enough that you do need a spy. It's not like they can drop everyone. Like, it's going to be a really, really tough test for the best defense in the league. And that's like the most exciting thing about this matchup. Like, I'm honestly not interested. Saquon will probably run for 215 and 3 touchdowns.
And if he does, he will break the record for most single season yards, period, like playoffs plus regular season.
And you could let him do it. It's almost like playing the old Lakers. You're like, all right, let Kobe get 60. Let's see if anybody else can do it. Like,
yeah, but you just stack the box and you hope that you get him under 200. That's what I think is like the hope to win the game.
Yeah, but if they get out and score like they did against Detroit, the Eagles aren't even going to be able to do that, and then you have to drop into coverage a little bit. I don't know. This is an interesting game, but I am definitely more interested in seeing Jaden versus this Eagles defense. I would take by the spread a million times over here. I'm sure it's going to change leading up to the game, as the Commanders are like the sexy pick here. I think like the public that aren't Eagles fans, who Philadelphia is already like hated in general,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the money's going to come rolling in on the Commanders, and this will be like a 4-point spread come game time. But I'll take the Commanders straight up in my heart of hearts. But as you'll see in the newsletter tomorrow, I predicted the worst outcome for the Super Bowl. So
Eagles Chiefs. Yeah. So that's my thing is Eagles beat the Ravens, and I'm not just like fully comping like Commanders and Ravens, but they have a similar quarterback structure, and that's kind of what. And defensive woes that for the Ravens that definitely got better as the season went on. But I can kind of comp them a little bit here, and the Eagles were able to take care of them, and that worries me because I'm the same way. Like, I want to pick the Commanders, and I'm going to pick the Commanders because I'm just going to be aspirational,
me too.
With it. But I was 1 for 4 in the last round of the
I picked Rams and Texans
of the playoffs. So I picked Rams. The only game I got right was the Chiefs. I picked the Ravens, the Rams, and the Lions. And so I haven't been good at predicting the playoffs. I was much better in the regular season. I'm picking the Commanders because I want it to happen. I don't want the Eagles to go to the Super Bowl because not even just because we've seen it before. It's honestly because Jalen Hurts is so goddamn boring.
That's just a boring offense.
Yeah, I just don't want to watch them play in the Super Bowl. I want to, and I would love to see a rookie get to do this.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that ever. Yeah. Is that ever happened?
I mean, Flacco's the only other guy to beat a number 1 seed. He's the first rookie to have over 300 yards from scrimmage in 2 postseason games. I think, a rookie's been to the Super Bowl, I want to say.
Question mark.
Sanchez? No, Sanchez only went, and maybe he made it.
AFC Championship for Sanchez? I don't know. It
might be a first.
Yeah, I think that one has been there. I don't think one has won it. I don't know. But I'm going to pick the Commanders because I want it to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for them.
Flacco won in 08, right? As a rookie?
I thought he won in 11 or 12.
Shit, dog.
All right, yeah, we're both picking Commanders.
Yep. We're doing
next.
it. We're doing it. And Marshawn Lattimore, fantastic performance.
Didn't allow a single reception.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, he's
all right.
back.
I just had to mention that. Okay, now we got Bills Chiefs. This happens every other year. And I don't really care. I'm picking the Chiefs because, the Bills have never beat the Chiefs, but Patrick Mahomes has never lost to Josh Allen in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The only person to beat Mahomes in the playoffs was Brady and Burrow. Is that it?
Yeah.
That was the only 2?
My aspirations are with the Bills, and I'm going to pick them just off vibes. I do think Josh Allen getting the ball out that fast is super critical, especially against a much better defense in Kansas City. I know Baltimore had a great second half of their season defensively, but the Chiefs' defensive line is legendary. And their secondary is very good with Trent McDuffie, but I think Josh Allen is in a groove right now that we haven't really seen anybody even do, even in Mahomes' best years, just the way he's protecting the ball and efficiently getting them down the field. And in the playoffs, they've seemingly really unlocked James Cook. He's been a much more of a factor, and their defense is playing a lot better. They lose safety Taylor Rapp, who just came back from injury last week and then blew his legs off. That sucks, but DeMar Hamlin is playing great.
Mm-hmm.
He forced that fumble. Mm-hmm. I'm taking the Bills in just like a gutsy quarterback duo here. That's just aspirationally.
A duo?
It's a duo.
What do you mean?
It's a duel.
There you go. There we go.
I was saying it with an accent. Sorry.
Oh, that's
a
right.
duel.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's aspirationally, but honestly, I do think it's going to be Philly, Kansas City in the Super Bowl, and it'll come down to a last-second Harrison Butker field goal that is aided by a long pass interference call drawn by DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh,
yeah,
that's so boring.
I know, but if that happens, people will be like, "Oh, you called it," and I'll be like, "I didn't do anything."
What kind of name is Trent?
Trent McDuffie?
No, I know, just Trent.
Trent Williams?
No, I know. I'm not saying there's people named Trent. Obviously, that's the whole point I'm making.
Yeah.
What a weird name.
Your name's Dick.
No, my name's Riley.
Oh.
Trent. It's
so
so
like Brent.
I know, but it's weird.
You're weird.
It
You're
starts
sitting like this in a chair.
Oh yeah.
Remove the games real quick. Let's see how Riley's sitting.
Oh, okay. It starts and ends with a T, and his name is Trent. Such an odd sound for a first name. You feel me?
I love doing this with you, man.
You feel
Super Bowl
me?
week's coming
I didn't
up.
know. I didn't pick yet. Asshole.
No, why are you calling me an asshole?
You're trying to end the video, and
I
it's
was
not
saying
over.
how nice it was picking games with you.
All right, I'm gonna sit like this then. I'm picking the Chiefs because of the refs are on their side, and Satan has always wanted this to happen. And wanted the Chiefs three-peat because he's a huge Taylor Swift fan. And honestly, he's a bandwagoner. A lot of people thought the Chiefs had Satan on their side the whole time. And they've been getting these calls for years. Nope. He's just a big fan of 1989 Taylor's version. And he really wants to see Travis Kelce propose to Taylor Swift at halftime, or no, at the middle of the field at the 50-yard line right after the game ends, and there's confetti all over. And it's going to be awesome. But I'm going to pick the Chiefs going up against a rookie quarterback, and I don't think that's going to go very well for the rookie quarterback. And the Chiefs are going to have a three-peat, and it's going to be really boring. And we're basically watching like the Yankees in like the 2000s. Yeah. And it's like, all right, we could pick somebody else, but probably not. You know what I mean? There's not the Bills are the Red Sox, if that helps. So they get it in 04. So we'll have to wait for that to happen. Maybe the Ravens can get it at some point, but I also think the AFC is so much better at the top. I know the NFC was better this year technically, like they won against the AFC, they had more wins, but
saying the NFC is like bottoms.
I'm saying the bottom of the NFC is better than the bottom of the AFC, but the top of the AFC is better than the top of the NFC, and that's why I'm kind of like, I do kind of think it's just going to be the Eagles versus the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs beat the Eagles easily. And we've already seen that Super Bowl. Do they really want to do another one? It's fucking dumb. So I'm bummed about it, but yeah, I'm picking Chiefs Commanders. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm hoping for. I hope it happens. Super Bowl is coming up, but they do a week where it's a week in between.
Yeah, we'll have another Bengal video.
And we got a trivia video coming out.
Trivia video. We're gonna be hitting y'all with content during that off week. Maybe we'll do like a fun Super Bowl week thing.
Yeah, we'll do some stuff. It'll be really fun. Thanks for all the new subscribers. Shout out to Bengal for being on the show, and shout out to all the Bengal watchers. Hook 'em and book 'em.
Yeah.
Big game Bengal. Shout out to Gene Dangus. And also, we've got other videos coming out on the other channels that we do. If you just found us from Bengal, we don't just talk about football. We talk about music, and we talk about a bunch of bullshit. The music one's called Hivemind, and the bullshit one's called Hivemind Unlimited. We also do the short form guessing top 10 lists on Hivemind Limited. So you can look up all that stuff. It's all linked in the description. I hope you guys are having a good time watching football. I'm excited to do it this weekend, and kisses and love to all of you.
Go Cavs.
Go Cavs, and go fuck yourself, Satan. I really hope the Bills win. Bills Commanders, we all want it.
Yeah.
All right?
Roll that shit, Tony.
Bye, everybody. Roll it, Tony.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.